students, again I came with one more problem of dominance theory, dominance rule in game theory. Let us solve this problem. First, let us understand this problem. Solve the following game by dominance property. Player A, player B is given. For player A is having 3 strategies, whereas player B is having 4 strategies. So we have to solve this by using dominance property, and it will be for 5 marks. Okay. So first thing, as I said, so we have to check with row wise or column wise. It's a trial and error method. So I go with row wise. First I'll take A1 row and A2 row. So in this, each element of one row I need to compare with each element of other row. So first element is 3, same as 3. 2 is greater than 1, 1 is greater than 0, and 6 is greater than 4. Hence, I can delete A2. When you are checking with row wise, you need to delete smaller row. Very simple. When it is column wise, you need to delete the bigger column. In this, A2 is smaller, A1 is bigger. Hence, I am deleting A2. The reduced matrix will be A1 and A3, as A2 is deleted already. Okay. So I am writing B1, B2, B3 and B4. As A2 is deleted, the remaining row will be A1 and A3. 3, 2, 1, 6, 3, 4, minus 3 and 0. This is the remaining payoff matrix. Now again, it's a trial and error method. I need to go with column wise or row wise, that is my choice. So I think it is better to go with column wise now. So what I do, I will check with B1 and B2. I am going to compare B1 with B2. Okay. So each element of B1 I need to compare with respective element of other column, that is B2. So here 3 is greater than 2, 3 is lesser than 4, hence contradicts. So I can't compare B1 and B2 now. I need to go with B2 and B3. Okay. Now I am going to do B2 and B3 comparison. 2 is greater than 1, whereas 4 is also greater than minus 3. Hence, all the elements of B2 are greater than B3 elements. Hence, I can delete the bigger column. Column wise, bigger column you need to delete. So now, reduced matrix will be, except B2, I need to write all other columns. So B1, B3 and B4, A1 and A3. The elements of the payoff matrix 3, 3, 1, minus 3, 6, 0. This is reduced matrix. Now again, either I can go with column wise or row wise. So what I do, I will go with column wise. Okay. I will compare B3 with B4. It's a trial and error method. Okay. Either you can go with column wise or row wise. But you have to remember these 2 points. Whenever you go with column wise, delete the bigger column. When you are going with row wise, delete smaller row. So as I am going with column wise, I need to check each element here. 6 is greater than 1, 0 is also greater than minus 3. Hence, as I am comparing with column wise, I need to delete the column, bigger column, that is B4. Now, reduced matrix will be B1, B3, A1, A3. 3, 1, 3, minus 3. So now let me go with row wise, okay, or even I can go with column wise. What's a choice, my dear students? So I think my choice will be column wise. Okay. Again, as I said, it is a trial and error method, your choice. So now I am comparing column wise B1 and B3. So each element of B1, that is 3, is greater than 1. Again, other element of B1, that is 3, is also greater than -3. Hence, delete the bigger column. Column wise, delete the bigger values. So now, reduced matrix is B3 and A1, A3. So remaining is 1 minus 3. So this is a reduced matrix after deleting B1. Okay. So now there are 2 rows, 1 column. It is obvious that you need to go with row wise. Okay. We have 2 rows, that is A1 and A3. So in this we know that already row wise smaller one you need to delete. As we have 2 rows, okay, so we need to delete the smaller one. In this, 1 is greater than -3, hence delete the smaller one. Okay, right? So remaining is 1, hence in this the value of the game is 1, and also the saddle point of the game is 1. And we also know that how to conclude player A strategy will be A1, player B strategy will be B3. So you have to write down the conclusion, that is the value of the game is 1 and the saddle point of the game is 1. So the question is, solve the following game by dominance property, hence we solved. Okay, that's all. If you write with the conclusion, if we solve this with the conclusion, you will get 5 marks. Okay, now let us see one more problem, that is 2 marks problem. Yes students, this is in front of you, 2 marks question. Okay, let me read out. Very simple. In a 2-person zero-sum game, the payoff matrix for player A is given below. So in this you need to be very careful. They are saying that player A payoff matrix. Write down the payoff matrix for B. They given player A payoff matrix. Our job is to write down the payoff matrix for player B. It's very simple, it's very easy. So the solution for this, the first step, you need to change rows into columns. You have to change rows into columns. So here the rows, okay, that is A1, A2, A3, we have to change into columns. So I need to write down here A1, A2 and A3. See what did I do? Just I converted rows into columns. Then columns into rows. That is, I need to write here B1 and B2. The reason why I am writing this, because our job is to write down the payoff matrix for player B. Hence, player B should be in the row side. So this is player B. Okay. Now what next? I need to change all the columns into rows. Right? Very simple. So now column is B1 -5 -3 1. I need to write down row wise. But you have to remember one point, my dear students. Minus, it will be converted into positive. That is 5. Instead of -5, I need to write down +5. Then here instead of -3, I need to write down 3. And where there is a plus, I need to convert into -1. Very simple. The column I converted into row by changing the sign. That's it. Then here +4, +2 and the -2. That's it. If you write this, you will get 2 marks. Okay, very simple. So what did I do? I changed columns into rows by changing the signs. Very simple. I hope you understood. So that's all for this video. I am going to continue some more problem in coming video. Other students, again I came with 1 mark question in this video. If you understand, again it will be very easy. It's a conceptual oriented. So first let me read out the question, then explain. The question is, in a two-person zero-sum game, kindly observe, zero-sum game, if gain of one player is rupees 3, then what is the loss of other player? See, always you have to understand, first of all, what do you mean by zero-sum? Zero-sum game. So zero-sum game is that game in which if there are two players, okay, the player A profit and player B profit, when we add up, the sum will be 0. Hence we say it as zero-sum game. I repeat, the meaning of zero-sum game means a game in which the sum of the profit or loss of the two players will be 0. That means in this question, if the player A, assume that it is a player A, the gain is 3, then obviously the other player, assuming that B, the gain will be minus 3. Simple. Because when we add these two, answer will be 0, hence we say it is a zero-sum game. So, whenever this kind of question is asked, just remember, my dear students, if the gain of one player is 3, then obviously other player gain will be minus 3. So, one more question. If the player A gain is 5, what will be the gain of player B? It's obviously minus 5. One more. If the player A gain is minus 10, can you guess, my dear students? So, the answer for player B will be plus 10. Okay? You have to just change the sign. That's it. 1 mark. Okay. Now, 12th, that is 1 mark. Again, 1 mark question. In a rectangular game, if saddle point exists and maximum is minus 4, what is the value of minimax? See, in this kind of question, remember, you have to analyze. This is very important. Saddle point exists. When saddle point exists, okay, you have to remember, my dear students, maximum will be equal to minimax. Okay, maximum will be equal to minimax. So whenever saddle point exists, then it is obvious that maximum is equal to minimax. Hence, so what is the answer? I think you can guess. The answer for this question will be minus 4, because maximum is minus 4, hence minimax will be also minus 4. That's it. This will, you can fetch 1 mark if you write minus 4 as an answer in your exam. Right? Let us learn some theory. See, I solved problems, then I am teaching you theory, because as I already said, so I am concentrating on scoring. So I hope now, in the previous videos, you learned how to solve the problems. I am going to teach you the theory part of this chapter, that is game theory. So let me start with n-person game. So what do you mean by n-person game? A game in which n participants. Can you guess if I say what do you mean by one-person game? Where the game, in a game in which only one person will be playing. Okay. What do you mean by two-person game? Okay, it's obvious that there will be 2 players. So n-person game means there will be n players, you can say, or n participants. So a game in which n participants is called n-person game. So next one, 2-person game. A game involving 2 participants, very simple. If I say 3-person game, 3 participants and so on. So what do you mean by strategy? Okay, the strategy of a player is predetermined. See, the first thing is the pre-planned. See, strategy literal meaning is plan. It's a business word, first of all. Okay, so strategy means a strategy of a player is predetermined rule by which a player determines his course of action. See, he will be predetermined his course of action. It means if opposite player plays something, he will be predetermined to play his own strategy. Okay, he will play to have his own course of action. So that is called as strategy. There are two types of strategy. One is pure strategy and mixed strategy. Okay, now let me explain what is pure strategy. Okay, if a player decide to use only one particular course of action, see, this is very important, one particular course of action, then that is called as pure strategy, whereas mixed strategy decides to use all or some of his available course of action. Here it is the same, only one particular course of action, but here all or some. Hence it is called as mixed strategy. There are two types of strategy. One is pure strategy and mixed strategy. Zero-sum game, a game in which sum of payoff of the player is 0. So here sum of payoff means the profit or loss. If there are two players, the profit of A plus the profit of B will always be 0. Then we call it as zero-sum game. Okay, the result of two players, when we add up, when we get 0, so that game is called as zero-sum game. Two-person zero-sum game. See, here it is, already you learnt, two-person, a game in which there are two participants, and zero-sum means we already learnt here. So their payoff, when we add up, then the result will be 0. Hence we call it as two-person zero-sum game. Now, what do you mean by payoff matrix? It is a table showing how payments are to be made at the end of each play or a game. So it's a matrix. It's a square matrix sometime, rectangular matrix sometime. Okay. So depending upon the strategies of both the players, and it gives you the payments are to be made at the end of each game. That is called as payoff matrix. And what do you mean by maximum? The maximum of the row minimum. So what we do actually when we are solving maximum minimax principle, row wise we take smaller and find out the maximum out of that. Correct? The same way we have to write in words. The maximum of a row minimum is known as maximum. Next, minimax. The minimum of the column maximum is called as minimax. Okay. Then what next? Saddle point. The position in the payoff matrix where maximum and minimax coincide is called as saddle point. So it's very simple. Two things. Maximum and minimax, they will coincide. They will be equal. So in which point both are equal, we call that point as saddle point. Next, value of the game. The payoff at the position of the saddle point is the value of the game. It's very simple. The payoff at the position of the saddle point is called value of game. It is expected gain of a player A when both the players adopt optimal strategy. The last one, fair game, very important for 1 mark. A game is said to be fair when the value of the game is 0. When the value of the game is 0, then we say it is a fair game. So I hope you understood the entire, I started with the problems, first introduction, then problems, then theory part. Okay, that's all for game theory. I hope you understood, you liked this video and you are enjoying. So happy learning, my dear students. We are going to meet again with some more topics in next video. If you like this video, kindly share. Thank you, students. All the best.